The Honourable Member for Tourism, Culture, Arts and Recreation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to the Honourable Member for bringing forward this private members resolution, and thank you to the members for the great words they've said. I'm going to try my best not to repeat what others have, because I know how important it is for everyone that wants to have the opportunity to say a few words. But the First World War in particular was an influential moment in the history of Newfoundland and Labrador, and I don't need to tell anybody in this House that. The role in the Great War and the participation of battles that we both won and lost became the stuff of legend. I ask all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians what a significant event has defined us as a people, and the majority will have replied, the Battle of the Somme, Beaumont Hamel, and the Royal Newfoundland Regiment. Which is why in 2014 the government saw fit to start the Honour 100 program and launch it. The Honour 100 initiative was a 4-year commemorative program that was designed to reconnect Newfoundlanders and Labradorians with the past and highlight the First World War story that needs to be told and always remembered. Communities came together to commemorate their ancestors. There was a significant enhancements to the curriculum and material within the school systems, and a flurry of artistic creation. Exhibits were created and history preserved and shared. It is because of people in our province that we still feel that deep connection to the First World War, that the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador remains committed to the honouring our veterans, past and present. Mr. Speaker, we do continue to support this legacy project, such as the annual Trail of the Caribou, pilgrimage to the battlefields in France and Belgium. Each year there's an expedition due to COVID-19. This past year we didn't get the opportunity to do that, unfortunately, but 35 youth retraced the footsteps of our beloved Royal Newfoundland Regiment, at the time Newfoundland Regiment, and visit the sites where the caribou monuments exist as a tribute to those brave men who fought and died for us. It has become a connection to the First World War history that 3 years after the final anniversary of the centennial years has passed, the government still remains committed to completing the one final Honour 100 commitment, and that's the placement of the bronze caribou monument in Gallipoli Peninsula. I'm glad that I happen to be the minister responsible for that at this point, but there's a thanks goes out to a lot of people over the number of years on both sides of the House that had a hand in ensuring that this monument was there to complete that Trail of the Caribou. The Trail of the Caribou extends through northern France and Belgium, located at sites significant to the Royal Newfoundland Regiment and their accomplishments, contributions and sacrifices, including Beaumont Hamel, Monair, Goudecourt, Monchy-le-Preux and Courtrai. And I agree with the honourable member that mentioned earlier about attending Vimy Ridge and seeing how it's so hard to describe what you're feeling at those sites, and I can attest to that personally at all of those caribous. It's amazing this very small piece of ground that people were fighting over and dying for over that time period for each of the armed conflicts. It's amazing to see. This past July, Mr. Speaker, I was pleased to say that our partners with the Royal Newfoundland Regiment Advisory Council awarded the contract to a local engineering company, Innovate NL, to undertake the construction of a caribou monument on a piece of land near Hill 10 in the cemetery in Gallipoli. So one of the good things about this is that it's an actual exact replica taken from the caribou that sits in Bowring Park. So this will be the installation of the 6th caribou in Europe, completing the Trail of the Caribou and honouring those brave men in the Royal Newfoundland Regiment for their time on the Eastern Front in Gallipoli campaign, 1915 and 16. The only regiment in North America to do so. Mr. Speaker, our military history and heritage is strong. And I'm so proud of the role our people played in the First World War. We will be forever reminded of the sacrifices made during the First World War, and will always be enshrined in our hearts of the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. I've had the pleasure of parading to the National War Memorial, one of only 2 National War Memorials, by the way, in the country, since 1989, almost every year, in uniform as a cadet and as a member of the CLB. And I'll never forget looking at the monument, and I think the Minister of Justice mentioned the feeling of being on parade and it being so cold and everything, and we'd always be saying to each other at the time, it's really cold, but you know, this is nothing compared to what those individuals faced in those trenches. So in 2007, it became very real to me and as a personal connection, because I'll never forget on Easter Sunday, April 8th, at 31 years of age, one of my good friends passed away to a roadside bomb, Don Lucas, while he was serving in Afghanistan. And I'll never forget that call. The monument meant something significantly more to me at that point than it ever did before, although I was always understood this importance of it, but I think it really hits home when you know somebody. And I know that the honourable member from Terranova spoke about that, and I know how important that is to have some monuments to at least do our little part to try to remember those individuals that provided why we are able to sit here today. Mr. Speaker, I fully support the motion and encourage all members in the House, and I think we will get that today, to rehabilitate the National War Memorial here in Newfoundland and Labrador for the people. It was built for the people and by the people of this province, so I'm very happy that we could do that here in this House. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I know there's other members who want to have a few words to say.